everyone, and welcome to this episode of Waynesboro at Work, a podcast where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs to learn more about the origin stories of their businesses, where their passion for their work comes from, and a little bit of everything in between. I'm your host, Brooke Anderson, and I'm joined today by Dana Mayers, who is the owner of Heritage Hill Bed and Breakfast in Waynesboro. Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, for people that might not be familiar with Heritage Hill Bed and Breakfast, tell me a little bit more about what all the exciting things that are happening there.
Well, Heritage Hill Bed and Breakfast is a small bed and breakfast. We have 3 rooms available to book. It's a historic bed and breakfast. We bought an old house here in Waynesboro, built in 1847. And we love the history, and that's part of the name Heritage, comes from the history of the house. And being a small bed and breakfast, we are able to give a more personal service to our guests.
Got you. Okay. And so where did the dream of owning a bed and breakfast come from?
Well, that started a little over 34 years ago on our honeymoon. We stayed at a bed and breakfast in Washington State where we were married, and we absolutely loved it. And ever since then, on our anniversary, as often as we could, we would stay at various bed and breakfasts, and always we would look at each other and say, one day we want to do this.
Yes.
And one day finally came. All the kids had left for college, and we started looking, and took about 1.5 years to find this place. I had never heard of Waynesboro.
Okay.
We came down from Northern Virginia. And but when we found it, we knew it was the right spot. It was totally an answer to prayer, and we feel very blessed.
Nice. And so what beyond, finding your perfect B&B there, what kind of drew you to the Waynesboro area?
Well, like I said, I'd never heard of it. And then we just, we knew we liked the area, the Shenandoah Valley area. My daughter had gone to or was attending JMU. So we were a little familiar with the area. But when we just drove into the town, and we just love small towns anyway.
Yes.
And then the location of the house here on a hill overlooking, the pasture lands, the mountains, the small little main streets just down the road. So, everything just felt right.
Yes, it can definitely feel sort of like that perfect quintessential getaway place to be, for sure. So, I think what you said, maybe a lot of people have had the inclination of, wow, I wonder what it would be like to own a bed and breakfast or be in that hospitality role. What are some of the things that maybe people would be interested to know or were surprising to you as you got into running a bed and breakfast?
I mean, a lot of things are kind of how I thought they would be.
Okay.
And it was perfect for me because I like to do these kinds of things. I always like to entertain, and weirdly, I like to make beds and get ready for people and things like that. I like to cook. So those things were, what I was hoping it would be. And I was very pleased that it was what I thought it would be. But, it is work too. It definitely is work. Some of the hardest things for me has been navigating the whole social media market and website, all of that kind of stuff. But thankfully, I have a daughter who knows all about that.
Well, that is definitely helpful. Yes.
That's probably been some of the harder things. And then for us, an old house has problems.
Right.
You think you've fixed one thing and something else comes up. So you have to be ready for all these different things that you weren't expecting.
Yes, absolutely. Do you happen to know some of the previous history of the house?
Yes, the previous owners before us was the Penn family.
Okay.
And they owned the house, I believe it was 65 years. They were the longest owners of the house. And Dr. Penn was a surgeon in town. And it's funny because we've run into many people and we told them where we live, and they say, "Oh, you live in Dr. Penn's house." So well known in Waynesboro. But before that, there were other owners. They did a little, I want to say like a family tree kind of a thing of all the owners. There hasn't been as many as I thought, maybe like 6 or 7. I think we're the 8th one
Wow.
in
Okay.
years. So, and it's kind of neat to read about them, and then you can go and learn more things from them if you go to the library. It's been fun.
Yes, absolutely. So, it's sounds like you and your husband both sort of had this shared vision as entrepreneurs. How has that been being like a husband and wife team? Do you find that you have different skill sets that complement one another, or what is the dynamic with that?
Yes, definitely. Different skills that complement each other. He will tell you it was my idea, but he enjoys it too. Um, I'm definitely more of the hospitality side of things, and he's more of the handyman side of things. But I think together we make a good team, and surprisingly, we work well together.
All right. That's
So
great.
that's been a plus.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, before having the bed and breakfast, did you have other entrepreneurial pursuits?
No, we never did.
Okay.
Um, we never did. Other than raising kids. That was
Yes.
all we did beforehand. So,
Gotcha. So, as sort of first time entrepreneurs that have been at this for a bit, do you have advice for other people that might be thinking about opening a bed and breakfast, or maybe just, starting any sort of business venture as a first time entrepreneur?
I would say one thing that really helped us was having friends, older friends that had a bed and breakfast up in Middleburg that we would visit often. And so I could ask them questions. And when we finally did buy this place, she came and visited and told me things. And so getting advice from people who are doing what you're doing is helpful.
Yes.
Um, and doing some research. I think that Waynesboro is a perfect place for a bed and breakfast. It wasn't oversaturated. And so doing a little bit of research like that, and then obviously being willing to put in some hard work and be patient.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think that's a really good point. I think sometimes being an entrepreneur can almost feel like you're sort of on your own little island trying to tackle things, but it doesn't have to be that way. So getting plugged into people that have been there, done that is really important.
Mhm.
So the people that come to Heritage Hill, how far away are they coming from? Like, what's the furthest people have traveled to get there?
Well, the furthest is from China,
Wow. All
which
right.
was very interesting. Uh, it was a family, a mother and 2 daughters, and one of the daughters was a college student, I think at UVA, and then they were coming for some music camp over in the Stanton area.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. Only the daughter who was in college could speak English, so we didn't really get to have much conversation. But yeah, they came from China. But most people come from, a lot of people come down from Northern Virginia or over from Richmond, that area, and quite a few from North Carolina.
Gotcha. Okay.
People
Yeah.
coming up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway, Skyline Drive.
Yes, you're sort of in that perfect location where people can get to a lot of different activities and, do a lot of sightseeing from that one central place. So what is the style of Heritage Hill? I know sometimes B&Bs have themes to their rooms. What is sort of the vibe of Heritage Hill?
Well, we try to keep it, in the time period, but I'm not like going to buy antiques specifically from the year it was built, but we
Yes.
do like antiques, so we definitely have those, but it's actually probably a little more simple than most B&Bs, not one for lots of clutter and knickknacks and
Gotcha.
dolls. I don't like dolls.
Gotcha. So a
Um,
serene environment.
it's very much more simple, but very comfortable. We don't have themed rooms in the sense of somebody's name or anything. It's just
Sure.
colored. We have a red room, we have a blue room, we have a gold room. Makes
Okay.
it easy to remember.
Nice, absolutely. And then as the name implies, it's a bed and breakfast. So, what sort of food can people expect when they stay there?
Oh, lots of different things. We have our own chickens, so you're always going to get fresh eggs,
Nice.
and those are made in various ways. Um, I like to try new recipes. I've always liked to try new recipes. I love to make scones, so you're probably always going to get scones. And definitely try to have some healthy options, some yogurt and fruit and things like that. But um, I'm not opposed to, big egg casseroles or French toast casseroles, or I don't know, whatever seems to fit. Also, I'm very open to cooking for people with different allergy issues. I myself, unfortunately, have an egg allergy.
Hmm.
So I don't always get to test personally everything I make. My husband is my tester. But I know what it's like to have an allergy and to go somewhere and not be able to eat something. So I always ask about that.
That's really good to know. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of people that will appreciate that accommodation for sure. So, as an entrepreneur, you're going along, you're doing your bed and breakfast work, and then the pandemic hits. So, how did the pandemic impact what you were doing there at Heritage Hill?
Well, in first it was definitely a problem because everything was, closed down.
Mm.
I think it was it April, March, April. And then May of 2019, we definitely had to do some refunds. College graduations weren't happening. And then as the summer went on, I would say maybe starting in July and August, we started to get people coming. And I think because we're small and we're not a big hotel, we're not going to be a lot of people here. People felt comfortable coming. And so
Yes.
after that, it didn't seem to affect us too much after that initial couple months.
Got
Uh,
you. Yes. There are some industries where that seemed to happen, where their business actually picked up at certain intervals during the pandemic. So for people that are interested in booking, how far out should they be planning booking their stay there at Heritage?
well, our website only allows you to book 3 months out,
Okay.
but you're welcome to call and we can work something out over the phone that
Okay.
way as well.
Perfect. And what is the website for Heritage Hill, and what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
The website is Heritage Hill BN, the letter N, V.com.
Okay, perfect.
And
And
the email is probably the best way.
okay, and what's the best email address?
It's heritagehillbnb@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. So people can look at the website, they can email you if they have questions. That's great. What else do you think is important for people to know about Heritage Hill B&B or your own personal journey as an entrepreneur?
Good question. About the B&B, I think the thing that makes it stand out from some of the other ones is it's smaller. Um, we have almost 8 acres of land here within the city limits, which is not common. So we're close to the city, but we feel like we're in the country. You're not going to have to drive along country road to get to us. Definitely can walk around and relax and enjoy the scenery. So I think it makes it a little nicer in that way. As for me, I don't know. This has just been a great journey so far. I feel like sometimes I pinch myself and say, is this really me? Is this my job? Is this, you know, I mean, it's not that it's always easy, but overall, it's just been a huge blessing.
Yes, it sounds like it can be a lot of fun. I'm sure it's really interesting getting to know all of the visitors that you have and sort of showing them the wonderful things they can discover there in Waynesboro and beyond.
Yeah. We always try to encourage them to check out the town. We recommend the local restaurants and stores and attractions and events and things like that because there's just so much around here.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely things to do for people with all sorts of interest. So, a big part of what you do there is the hospitality side of things. Is that something you've always been drawn to? You said you loved, you even love making the beds and doing all of that. Are you just kind of a nurturer at heart?
I think so. Our house, when the kids were growing up, especially in high school, was the house where people would come over. I would come home sometimes and there would be people there I didn't even know who they were. But I would bake some cookies and, all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
So I think it's just transferred over into my work now,
nice.
which
It's
is not really
really right, exactly. When you can kind of combine your natural passion with quote unquote a job, it doesn't really feel that much like work anymore.
work.
Absolutely. All right, Dana. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to tell us more about Heritage Hill B&B and your personal journey as an entrepreneur. For people that are interested, make sure to check out the website, email them if you have any questions. It sounds like it's a fabulous place for a getaway. People coming as far away as China, that's super exciting. So thank you for everything that you're doing to sort of inspire tourism in Waynesboro, Dana.
You're welcome. I'm happy to do it.
So, for everyone that is tuning in, please be sure to check out waynesborobusiness.com or growwaynesboro.com if you're interested in learning more about business in Waynesboro or the entrepreneurs and business leaders that are doing such great work here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the Visit Waynesboro YouTube channel, the Waynesboro at Work Spotify channel, and check out the Meet the Entrepreneurs blog at growwaynesboro.com for even more information and episodes. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care and be well.